Hey, what's up, guys? It's your friend Nuke back again with another episode of the NukeStream. You guys know where to find me. You can find me on YouTube, obviously. Like and subscribe. Twitter, Galileo Nuclear. Instagram, Nuclear Caudillo. Twitch, Nuclear Caudillo. And you guys can reach out for on my email, nuclearcaudillo@gmail.com as well. And memberships are open, guys. If you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel and support, once I have enough members, then I'll start doing a private live stream. And also my Patreon/Nuclear I post articles, field reports. I'm starting to post field reports and all that stuff. And yeah, guys, those are where you can follow me and support if you would like. Anyways, guys, today's topic is something that it's been talked about before, but I wanted to tie it in more to dating, and maybe you guys can, maybe my perspective will help here. But don't be afraid to ask questions or comment or anything, guys. Like good questions make the show better. So appreciate you guys' participation. Anyways, so I want to talk today about women's agency, right? Women's agency, basically, it's a topic that um, different factions of the manoswamp or manosphere, whatever you want to call it, all have a different take on it, and ultimately, it's how feminism flexes its power on men. Um, because the question always is are women these strong empowered types that can do anything or anything a man can do but better, or are they these weak victims that need our help, need us to protect them and give them a boost in life, right? Which one is it, right? And if you still don't know the answer, even though feminism has been around for over 20 years, or sorry, over 60 years, that's by design. It's supposed to be like that. That's how feminism is so powerful. Excuse me. If you guys been in, I'm sure all of you have worked with women or dealt with in situations where, one week a woman's getting an award for being such a hardworking person at work and all that, but then the next week, she complains that men, are she wishes she was a guy because then she would have it easy, and that she should be, have the same level of benefit as men or something like that. I saw that a lot in the military, right? Where women were constantly getting like pumped up, and they were these amazing people for being in the military despite all the setbacks that women face. But also they still complain that, you know, about being women on a ship. So it's like, which one is it? Is it does it suck to be a woman, or are you guys some super empowered, can handle any situation type person? So, and it's confusing, and it has to be because that's how they keep you in the dark. And a lot of different ways of thinking, and a lot of people, important, smart people, follow this. Whether it be your academic gurus like Jordan Peterson, or your so-called dating gurus like, I'm not gonna name any, but you guys know which ones I'm talking about. Guys that just basically they can't say anything bad about women, and they can't say anything good about a man without also mentioning how good women are too. They always got to tie up both, and they do that because they want to seem better as a person, right? Because if you don't constantly pump up women in this gynocentric society, you're seen as a bad person, right? So, uh, yeah, that's where we're at, and I'm gonna tie this into dating. I always want to have part of the show be actionable, talking points, things that we can actually create a strategy around. But at the end of the day, that's why feminism is so powerful. That's why it's so endemic. That's why even me sitting here, I'm, I am a feminist because it's just so endemic. I can't escape it, right? And in any profession and anything that women do, women can always play the victim card and gain the upper hand. And that's, and the only reason that works is because men truly believe that women are still victims, even though they're doing great. And it's like not until recently that men started like um picking up on this and saying, hey, like are women really the victims? Because guys aren't guys are dropping out of college, not finishing school, guys aren't getting laid, guys aren't buying houses, guys this and that, guys aren't getting married, blah blah, right? So we start to see like, hey, feminism is one of the strong arms of feminism, one of its tactics is starting to crumble in front of our very own eyes because the data and the life experiences we see are almost unignorable now, right? And that's that messes that pisses people off that we bring this stuff up, right? So that's why now it's men need to step up, and that's the next leg of feminism strategy is like convince men that they're the agents, they happen to the world and the world doesn't happen to them, and convince women that they're the victims, that the world happens to them and not the other way around, even though we know for a fact that like in that a woman can if a woman has non-soggy boobs and she shows them online, she can have her rent paid. Obviously, most women are making shit online, but you know, um, there are a lot of people who are willing to pay women just to exist. And even that is amazing. That is amazing to me. So, yeah, um, right now, the hero victim is how feminism gets you, right? And in order to really be at peace and understand women and to be able to enjoy them, you need to step out of that loop and out of that maelstrom of like feminism and step back and be like, I'm not going to participate in that, right? I'm not going to say hold women accountable, but you're not going to care when when a woman starts reaping what she sowed, right? Um, you're not gonna care, right? Whether it's because of you or anything, right? And a lot of players and guys who eventually get good with women start seeing the other side of this. And like it's sad that the only way feminism is truly defeated and the only people that have the key to destroying feminism in their own mind is people who have seen the worst and best from women, like I have. And you realize with time that like really women really are in charge of their own life. They just a lot of times they make bad decisions. And it's not your fault, neither is it your problem to solve. Even though they keep telling you in different ways, right? You're already paying taxes to cover up for a lot of female decisions. So why do you need to do in your own life and discomfort yourself because women want to be um um want to do whatever they want, right? Which is the goal of feminism is to all the agency, but none of the responsibility, all the authority, but none of the responsibility that comes with the authority. And that's, slavery, right? Or sorry, that's tyranny. While the men, it's like all the responsibility, but none of the authority, which is slavery. Um, yeah. So yeah, those are like the common red pill talking points. Everyone repeats them, but like once you go out and start dating and start hitting the ground running and start meeting women, you start seeing like you see it very very more much more viscerally. You see it as like you see it as like almost shocking about how shitty some women's life decisions are, and how like how much they'll do to justify their own decisions, um and how much work they have to do to backtrack and like protect their identity from past decisions or their future. And it just they want you to man up and cover them for their decisions, right? And that's why a lot of guys don't like womanizers players, because it's the true expression of freedom, and the biggest expression of freedom is feminism. Sorry, from feminism is just living how you want and not being worried about whether a woman makes a decision or not, whether it be a bad decision with you, like sleeping with you, or stuff like that. So both feminists and people that say they're anti-feminists look at people like us and say, hey, like you guys are the other side of the feminism, right? You're just feminism for men. I'm like, no, because no red pill marches, there's no state force red pill policies, there's none of that. It's just um it's just that men they think the red pill's a group. It's not. It's just a toolbox. You get what you need, blah blah, right? But also people still don't know what feminism is. Even feminists don't know what feminism is. it's a strategy. It's supposed to get it's a means to an end, right? And a lot of people use it, and they don't even. Some women use it um, unknowingly, some women use it knowingly, but it's a strategy and it works, and that's why they keep using it. Like, and it's gonna continue working, right? Um, and it's easy to see this in your day to day life where, um, you know, constantly see examples where women go to work and they're celebrated for doing the job, but then like they have to ask men to carry heavy stuff, or they have to take more time off because they simply are tired, or they so the state steps in and tries to level the playing field based on our tax dollars, the tax dollars that we play, the sacrifice we play. And then with all that, feminism still demands more, and it will keep demanding more from men in order to, because they still, the strategy is, hey, you are a super privileged man. Everything is given to you much easier. Women deserve to be, at your level because reasons. And you're like, okay, I'll go with it. I don't want to lose my job. And then you go with it, and then your job is safe, but now you're miserable because you're working in an office where, um, you know, you're working harder than other people and all that stuff, and you're not getting equal pay, right? And that's feminism at work, right? But so the questions I ask you guys are women victims, or are they empowered? Like, which one is it? How should you see women in general, like from a dating perspective? Like, when you meet a girl and you're on a date with her, do you look at her as like, oh, she's a victim, poor girl, or like empower, like, man, I'm scared that this girl will, like, ruin my life and all that stuff, blah blah, right? Which one should you see them as? Um, just know this: women are not stupid, right? Consider women at being the same average IQ you are, right? Don't think that women are just like these little creatures that don't know what they're doing, right? Do you think, let's say you asked a girl out on a date, right? And let's say you're a smooth guy, you got game, you dress well, you're in a good part of the city. Like, you put some work into yourself and you're meeting women, right? You're in shape. And you invite a girl out, right? And she lives 20 minutes away, let's say, and you say, "Hey, meet me here at this time, right, for a date." And she says, "Yes, I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait to see you." Right? Um, and you do all these things, and then you realize, like, okay, she's actually gonna show up. And during the day, maybe like the 4 hours before the date, she consults her friends, her family. She tells everyone, "Hey, I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm going out with this guy, and this guy's kind of hot, and we'll see what happens. I don't know." Right? And um, then she shaves her legs, maybe shaves her lady parts or whatever, and then let's say she does her hair a little bit. Let's say she even goes buys a dress. Let's say she sets her location on so her friends know where she's at. She does all these things to prepare for the date, and then she shows up with she gets in the car. She drives to you, maybe fills up gas and all that stuff. Maybe cancels other plans, a phone call with her mom or whatever. Goes to meet you, sits down, and then you say, "Hey, would you like a drink?" And then she has a drink, and then she has another one, and then you ask her, "Hey, I'm gonna have another drink, or you want one?" And she's like, she's good, or she wants another one, and you're drinking, and then you say, "Hey, let's go back to my place," and then you go back to your place, and then you show her your coin collection or piano or whatever your plausible deniability is, and then you make a move, and she's kissing her top's off, and then she starts moaning, and then spend the night with her, and then you kick her out in the morning, or say, "Hey, like, I gotta go, well, I gotta go for work or something," right? And then um it gets to the point where you're like, okay, I did all those things. And do you think at some point, if women um didn't have agency, they would have, like, or anything, like, let me see if I could put this in like an understandable way, right? Do you think at any point she didn't have a decision to do the next thing? You know, like, she had so much time to cancel the date. She had so much time to tell you, "Hey, I don't want." She had the opportunity to say, "Hey, I don't want another drink." She had the opportunity to tell you, "Hey, I don't want to go back to your place." She had the opportunity to say, "Hey, I'm not really comfortable right now." She had the opportunity to all these things over and over again. All these decisions these little decisions she made that all led up to you having, hooking up with her multiple times and all that stuff. She made all those decisions. And now you're on the other side of the hey, I get laid and you guys aren't getting laid because I did all the right things. And then you go on the internet or you just, deal with people that are like, you're licking all the ice cream, right? And you're just wondering, what the hell? Like, what do you mean I'm licking the ice cream? Like, she wanted to get licked. Like, she put she put herself in a position to get licked, right? And this leads to the debate. This is another debate, right? It's not a debate, but this is like one of the uh, bullshit red pill talking points is the Miami trip, the open Instagram DMs, all that stuff. Like, do women who do those things are doing it because teehee they just wanted the little Instagram or anything like that, or are they doing it out of like they know what they're doing, right? And guys, they know what they're doing. Trust me, I promise you, they know what they're doing, right? If you look at all these arguments that like, hey, you need to take a girl's Instagram away, have her password and all that stuff, right? All you're doing is like telling a child they can't have chocolate cake, even though they can just go get next door and get chocolate cake from the neighbor who's willing to give it to them for free, right? So it's like you need to deal with this on a adult level. Start treating women like an adult, and this magical thing happens when you start treating women like adults. Is that peace? You find peace. You're not anxious. You're not because first off, women, like I said, they're adults, so they can do things and act a certain way to get the things they want, just like you do. So if they're not doing those things, you don't have to reward them. And that's great news for people that like me that I just don't want to deal with another child in the house, right? Some people say, "Oh, she's like a child." Not really, you know. Um Children don't understand the world, women understand the world great. Children don't really manipulate that much besides crying. Women manipulate in many different ways besides crying, right? Um so women are more like the most responsible teenager in the house, meaning that she knows what she's doing. Problem is that she has an emotionalism filter she has to run things through, and it can affect her decision making, right? But for the most part, women have the right to vote just like we do, right? Women at 18 they can join the military just like we can. Women there is no law that says I can't have sex with an 18-year-old, right? And there's no law that an 18-year-old can have sex with a 60-year-old. you know uh, there's consent there, right? And you see how like as soon as I said that, it sounded creepy even though it's legal. That's because feminism is endemic. Feminism makes us think that these things that make women look like they're victims, like a guy like me who's like so game savvy and so red pilled and all that stuff, is telling an 18-year-old girl like, hey, come back to my place, let's hook up, right? That sounds like to the average person that's super creepy. And the thing is, like, you think the 18-year-old is not running circles around guys already? You know, she's probably getting matches from 30 and 40-year-olds all day, and like maybe canceling dates and running circles around them, and maybe has a sugar daddy and all that stuff. Yet feminism protects her by saying, "Oh, she's just a young girl that doesn't know what she's doing." Right? Um, so women do have agency, but they don't want you to know they have agency when it's not convenient to them, right? Um, Understand that when you make bad decisions and you have the ability to fall back on, hey, I just wasn't smart at the time or I made a mistake at the time, you're probably going to use that in order to get out of bad situations. And that's like the retroactive agency that a lot of people have. Like you see this a lot in adult film actresses, right? Where they went to um, they went to a studio or they answered a call, they signed a paper, they got explained how this works. They went for a shoot and then they did a reshoot and then they did it again and then they like didn't feel good, but then they did it again and then they got paid pennies to do the scene and then they did it again and all that. And same thing with like OnlyFans girls, where OnlyFans girls is like um they did the OnlyFans and they shoved the object of their up their vagina, right? And then um They didn't get paid for it. They got like $20 a week for literally doing this crazy sex act on camera. And their boyfriend left them, and the men that she wants are like, that's not for me. But we can just hook up or whatever, right? However, men we reject relationships, and then they keep doing it. I know because I saw it. I dated a girl where I found out, she had an OnlyFans, and I left her because things were getting serious, and she was 19 years old, guys. And you may think, oh, she got pressured into it, or she did. She told me that she needed the money for rent, right? But at the time, um, she had also the agency to be like, hey, let's move in together when you get to Dallas. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm sure that I expected her. Hey, 19 years old, you have agency, you can make decisions. The decision was on her part. This is the decision she made. I don't want to work that hard anymore at my new job that I got. I don't want to do overtime to pay rent, and I don't want to ask my then boyfriend for help because that makes me feel bad, you know. So I'm going to do pornography, and I'm not going to tell him or run it by him, even though he's the love of my life, or going to be, or we have plans to get married or whatever. What was running in her head, right? That's a decision, guys, and that's the decision she went with. And my decision was like, hey, no thanks, have a nice life. And that's the decision that was made, right? She was an adult. She made a decision, and the decision was, hey, I'm going to sell my body for money, maybe money, because maybe it isn't even enough, just so I can pay rent or whatever she wanted to, if that was even true. So, what can I do? Who is the guy who's probably the only guy that could have held her accountable in that moment? What was I supposed to do, guys? Tell me in the chat if I could have done anything. And why can't I have done anything? Because women have agency. They can make decisions and they can deal with the consequences of their decisions and they can move on from that, right? You will literally go crazy trying to control women and trying to tell them what to do all the time and trying to blame them for anything they do. Or sorry, trying to blame outside factors for everything they do. So instead of treating women like there's these like weak women that need guidance, like that need us to for like they need a man for everything, right? Let's just treat them like adults and see what happens. Like in your life, treat them like an adult. Hey, you have debt, you pay that debt off. I'm not your retirement plan, right? You stop going out with your girlfriends and you pay that debt, right? That's how this works. You made a mistake, you fix your mistake, right? Um, which I've dealt with myself too. I've always told women, like treated women like an adult, and it just obviously, like just like adults make bad decisions, and some of them deserve a second chance. But for the most part, you treat women like adults, you'll be happier for it. It's sad because you have to see women destroy their lives in real time, but you treat women like an adult, and you'll sleep more peaceful at night, knowing that hey, I have no control over this. I'm gonna let her do whatever she wants because at the end of the day, I cannot control another human being. I can barely control myself sometimes, But how, I'm gonna control another human being who has autonomy. Like, are you crazy? What a waste of time. Anyway, let me look at some of these chats. All right. We got Jack. I don't know if he's still here, but what's up, Jack? What's going on, man? We got Godspeed May. We only ask if women have agency when men are involved. We don't ask women have agency over their rent or something. Yes, very true. 1 second, I'm getting a little bit of lag. Uh, um, let's see what else we got. We got Matt, Costa Rica in the building. Mr. J, plausible deniability. The problem is an agency, it's accountability. Yeah, but dude, you can never hold women accountable. Like we can't. The red pill has nothing to do with women's accountability, dude. It's all about you and how you perceive the world and how to fix things in your life. Let's see. Brandon Tracy says Michael knows in Daily Wire. Hold on, let me bring this up. Michael Knowles and Daily Wire are all about female agency, but then says seduction is worse than R word, essentially stripping a girl of her agency. Tradicans for it. Yeah, but I mean, I'm going to get into that too. Why Tradicans love this fact that women need to be like, protect the little sheep and then all that stuff, because it ties into religion and all that stuff and the way they perceive women as being these weak creatures that, need our guidance, even though they don't need shit from me. So let's see. Treat them like adults, but you can't hold them accountable. What the fuck? No, okay. So let me ask you this: like, who are the adults that everyone knows in their life? Brother, sister, mother, father, and all that stuff. Children, all that stuff, right? Or children, not children. Well, like sons and daughters if you're an older person. And then you have coworkers on the outside, coworkers, friends, and then on the outside of that, you have just people you pass by on the street, people that you see at places you go, and all that, right? And how do you treat these people, right? You treat them like adults because they are adults. Like you expect, hey, that's a full-grown person, though, so I expect adult behavior, right? But what if one of those people, um, like kind of does something shitty to you? Let's say you're trying to get into a coffee shop, you have bags and stuff like that, and they don't hold the door open for you, they just slam it in your face or something like that, right? And you're just like, dude, what a dick, you know. Now you know that person slams doors on you, right? So what can you do to tell that person, hey, stop slamming the door in my face when I'm trying to walk in, right? What can you do? You can say, hey, excuse me, I was walking here, like, excuse me, right? And even then, do you think that would help? Would they change their mind? They're an adult, right? So how do you treat an adult that did something small and minor and shitty to you? Be like, oh, what a dick, and then move on, right? Now, how would you treat your child that did something shitty? You'd be like, hey, you can't do that. That's disrespectful. Go apologize to them, right? They'll listen to you, but that's because you're the number one godlike person in their life. They're everything, and they're afraid that if they let you down, that they're gonna get either hit or abandoned. Like kids think. So it's like, can you hold another adult accountable? Maybe at work, if you're their boss. You know, I can't hold my brother accountable. I can't hold my friends accountable. I just hope that they can hold themselves accountable, right? But you can never hold someone accountable unless there's a certain paradigm or anything like a job where you're the boss, and even then they can quit. So realize that you don't really have too much power with other human beings unless they're their own children, right? Or your dog. You have a little bit of power over your dog if it's a good dog too, at that. But you don't have power with the other human beings, so you can't hold them accountable, right? And that's what treating them like an adult means. It means accepting that they have the power to fix their own problems and you don't, and that's it. There's nothing. It's really simple, guys. It's really that simple. You can't really make it more simple than this, right? If you still have trouble understanding, maybe I don't understand your question, but it's just that simple. Like you cannot hold random adults accountable unless you have something over them like that is affecting their survival, which is why people in hostage situations listen to their hostage to listen to the person because they don't, they die. And that's why children listen to the parents because if they don't, they get hit, and I'm sure no one wants another adult to get hit, right? So yeah, it's really that simple. So hold on, I got a little bit of lag here. We got StreamYard lag, man. Oh, we got Gabe State. What's up? Uh, Mr. J. Accountability is kryptonite for women. They're always screaming on how grown they are until terrible decision they make shows they all their flaws. Yeah, but dude, here's the thing: you don't have to solve their problems for them, right? Why are you mad that like some girl somewhere far away made a dumb decision and is now dealing with the consequences in a bad way, right? Like that's not your problem, right? You only have to worry about the women in front of you. And a lot of guys think they have this thing where like if a girl somewhere far away acts bad, then it's somehow like a reflective on me, right? And the thing is like, no, dude, no, dude. The real world, when you step out there, right, outside of podcasts, tweets, and all that stuff, when you meet women, you're gonna realize like most women are good people, but their decisions about men are trash, absolutely garbage, right? And I know this because I've seen it with my own eyes. I've been the trash guy, and I've been the good guy that try to be good, and they're like, "Nah, I'm gonna go back to trash guy or another loser or something like that." And but outside of that, they're nice people. They're just they're polite, they're helpful, they're good to their family, um, and all that stuff. And I'm just like, okay, why is it that they suck with men, but with everything else they seem to be pretty good, right? And that's because there's other men that are footing the bill for their actions, and there always will be. And I'm sorry, I hate to see this, but like, look at women that are like posting, "Oh, this look what this man sent me, all this money, or look what he did for me." And it's just like, dude, you're never gonna defeat simps, man. They're always gonna be doing anything they can to make women feel like everything is not their fault, right? And that's just the way it is. Just like there's always gonna be a pastor to marry a retired porn star. There's always gonna be guys that to tell women everything's okay. It's okay to do what you did. You're strong, you're empowered. And the people that got to deal with that is not you. And that's the beauty of it. You think you have to deal with it, but you don't. I don't deal with it. And you don't have to either. Go out. If you meet a girl that made shitty decisions, make sure maybe she's like, you're the next shitty decision she makes. She's already made a shitty decision. You're not going to change your mind. You're not going to make her worse, and you're not going to make her better. You're just in her path, and that's all you can do. There's really nothing to do there. Like, it's not your problem. Women's problems are not your problem at all. Zero. We got oh man, plug my Twitter and I'll accept accountability. Maybe if you super chat me or something, I'll think about it. Uh, man, what's wrong with StreamYard tonight? I can say something to a man who does something rude to me, but what can I say to a woman? What are you describing as basically subjugation by women? And says, no, it's not. It's only subjugation if you think that you you can control women. Once you realize you can't control something, it's no longer subjugating you, right? You just live with it, right? It's like when it rains. When it rains, you look at it and be like, "Oh, this is subjugation by the rain." No, you're just like, "No, it just rains," and because it rains, I have to get an umbrella. I don't feel like it's the end of the world because it rains. I just feel like, hey, this is just another thing that happens that's out of my control. And the best thing to do, I'm gonna get wet, but I'm gonna use an umbrella to at least protect myself a little bit. And that's it. And it sucks sometimes, right? And you wish that some girls that like wouldn't do all the things they do, right? Um, and sometimes you have to deal with the treatment of other men, right? And I can tell you right now, guys, it's not the alphas that are ruining women, it's the simps. I'm telling you, it's not alphas ruining women, right? It's the simps. Alphas humble women. Alphas uh, put peg put women down a couple levels. Not that they should be, but they knock them down a couple levels, and then you're just like, it's the alphas doing all the bad things. I'm like, no, dude, it's the sips that tell her constantly that everything she does is amazing, that pay her for her that just to be on a date with them and all that stuff, and then you think you have to deal with consequences. You don't, right? The only thing you have to deal with is pay taxes because we live in a gynocentric social order, right? Um, Let me talk to you on here. I guess Twitter chat doesn't work all that well. Oh man, I didn't know you were on Twitch, man. But yeah, you can talk to me on here. I mean, what do you mean, like come on the video or something? Let's try to stop it. You can't stop Sims, man. Is that what you're talking about? Alphas are taking advantage of what simps have done. Maybe, you know. I don't know what the fuck super chat means. I just sign up to Twitch to bug you. Well, welcome to Twitch, YouTube. Super chat is like you give me money and I read what you placed on the screen. You know, like you pay me through YouTube. You know, you hit the super chat thing and you pay me and stuff like that. So that's what that means. Um. Anyways. Oh, okay. Oh, you mean like okay, yeah, because Twitter is just gonna show you a video and it's gonna be like you have to comment and all that stuff. So um oh yeah, fuck that. How about this? How about we do this? I'll plug your Twitter if you contribute with a question or a thought on the video. How about that? Anyways, so yeah, always ask the questions, always ask yourself, am I making excuses for women's behavior based on my understanding of their, of where she's coming from? Um, so it's like how do you reconcile the fact that though women are more emotional and make decisions based more short-term decisions based on emotion, and also that they're adults, and it's not easy, guys, but really you have to kill that inner beta that wants you to be like, no, women need to be shamed and women need to be protected and shamed from their bad decision. I'm like, no, dude, no, she's gonna do it anyway. She's gonna do it anyway, right? You can be the guy that be like, "Hey, I don't want to have sex with married women because that's wrong and moral." And if that's your moral, totally fine, dude. But understand that it's not gonna stop her from cheating. She's gonna find someone else, right? And that's see how you guys. We need to start thinking that our morals are for us. We can't impose our morals on other people and use that like since I'm good, then you have to be good too. That's a covert contract, right? Now you guys already know what a covert contract is. So it's like if I'm not gonna have sex with these women, I promise you guys, if the woman's attractive and you won't have sex with her, I will. You know, if she likes me, right? And why is that? Because my morality is different from your morality, right? To me, if a woman is attracted to me, I'm attracted to her. Okay, it's go time, right? Whatever your morality is about, like I'm not gonna lick the ice cream, or I'm not gonna do this, or whatever, then that's your problem, right? And I want you guys to understand that regardless of what you guys think about the sexual marketplace, what you guys think about men and women and religion and ideology and politics and save the West and what's going on, people will continue to fuck still. Attractive people will continue to fuck no matter how much you bitch and complain about morality and what's right and what's wrong, whether women have agency or not. You know, you will always have the opportunity to have sex too, as well, but your morality and your little rules are holding you back. There's no morality in dating, guys. There's none, zero. That is not a pass to go hurt somebody. Everything within the confounds of the law is allowed, and that's not a pass also to um hurt someone emotionally too, right? Even though it happens, you will hurt people. People hurt you as part of being human. You hurt people. That's just you will hurt someone eventually, emotionally, right? But you don't expect the world to like, especially the world online, to like all of a sudden change because you changed, right? People are still going to be doing things that you don't like and getting money, even money for it. And you may see it as unfair, but understand that you have no agency in that. You have no agency in a human being, right? Just like a woman doesn't have agency in your life and she shouldn't, right? Then why do you think you have agency in her life, right? That would be like a girl asking you, like, look at what Gabe State just asked me. Plug my Twitter. Does she have agency in this chat? No. So she can't tell me to do anything unless I let her do it. A woman can't make you mad when she's out being a hoe unless you let her make you mad, right? And I'll explain the reason why a lot of guys get mad when girls do whatever the hell they want, and they can blame guys like maybe like me. I'm sort of a good looking guy, right? Guys like me, um, enjoy women, right? And trust me, I've had to put in a lot of work to get to this point, right? But it's because it's about competition, right? It's all about intersexual competition. When a guy who's been kicked out of the sexual marketplace is like the bottom 80% or the bottom 20%, whatever bottom percent it is now, um, you know, and you get to the point where you can't get laid, or getting laid is extremely difficult for you, and you see guys who are getting laid and have figured it out and are putting in the work, right? You tend to, instead of like, hey, what if I worked hard and I got to their point and maybe I can get a girlfriend or maybe I can get a couple girls. Instead, they try to use shame tactics and try to unite together to bring down this alpha guy that's like getting all the women and licking all the ice cream, and then bring him down to their level. And that's exactly what chimps do. And whenever there's one boss chimp that's taking all the women and all the little in the chimp society, they band together to take the boss chimp out, right? And how does society deal with this? How do humans deal with this? We created marriage. So it's like, okay, we want every man to have a chance to procreate. So we'll create this thing called marriage. So every guy has a chance to pass on their genes, and they can focus less on other things like building society for the better. Problem is now that with technology and all that stuff, um, we don't really need as much people to keep the society going. We don't need marriage. Marriage is an outdated technology, right? If you want to get married, you need to go about it a different way, because right now the traditional way of marriage is completely outdated, as we've seen in popular manosphere media or whatever. So what you do is like, okay, I need a practical approach to this problem, right? Instead of shaming somebody, especially me, like, you guys think if anyone in this chat shames me for my choices with women, do you think I'm gonna stop? Right? Which is why I ask, what's your plan? Right? Because you're not gonna stop me, guys. Like, I know you guys are also players and good with women and all that stuff here, and I've seen you guys doing your guys' thing, and I've seen the ways you guys think. But let's say you guys were my haters, right? In my chat, in the chat, right? And you guys were like, oh, you're going to, you're gonna get your comeuppance. You know what? I'm gonna that Moldovan girl I met at salsa night the other night. You're right. I'm gonna tell her that I'm not good for her. Like, does that sound like it would ever happen? Like, does that sound like, like, I'm not the prodigal son. I'm not gonna change my mind out of nowhere, and so women aren't either, right? Maybe the problem is that not you guys, but like the person I'm addressing, maybe the problem is that you just don't have the skills you need to get women, or you don't have the skills to be protected from women's bad behaviors, right? And it takes skills, right? And that's why we're here. That's what the red pill's for. It's for a positive male identity. It's not to hold women accountable. It's not to change society at large. We're not here for that. I don't have the power, the resources, or the fucks to change society, right? I served my country for 6 years. That's the best I could do, guys, and it sucked, but I did it. Put on a uniform for 6 years. I was a firefighter, reactor operator for the United States Navy. It was brutal. It was like I almost lost my mind several times, but I did it and I got through it. And I'm like, okay, cool. Now I'm going to live for me. And part of living for yourself and being your own mental port of origin is looking at women and being like, whatever she does, not my problem, right? None of it's my problem. The relationship, if she wants a relationship with me, she has to earn it, right? Because she has so much choice and so many options. And I built the things that make me attractive have taken years to build. Why would I beg her to be in my life? Right? It doesn't make sense, right? Obviously, I'm still gonna bring a little effort. I'm gonna bring my charm, my charisma, and I'm also gonna, um as she steps up to the plate and be like, "Hey, I want to be this guy's girlfriend. What do I gotta do?" And maybe she'll cook one day, or maybe she'll give me a thoughtful gift. Whatever way a person shows that they care and they want and they're invested, you know, then I'll be like, okay, well, she showed me this. Now I'm gonna do something else. And then as time goes on, you start realizing like she's stepping up to the plate, right? And as she steps up to the plate, then you can say, okay, she actually cares. She's invested, and now I can put in a little bit of accountability because she's invested. That is the only person you'll ever hold accountable, maybe, is a girl that's genuinely desires you. And that's the thing, guys. The girls you see on podcasts, they don't know who you are. They don't genuinely desire you. The girls that reject you, right? You're gonna tell them, hey, I got a friend that tells girls like, hey, that's fucked up that you rejected me or ghosted me. I'm like, great, dude. She's gonna do it to the next guy, and she's gonna go fuck the next guy, right? You can't hold a woman accountable. However, she was in love with you or thought you were the coolest guy ever, and she was, throwing herself at you. You telling her, hey, the other day where you got drunk and didn't text me back, um, you want to be with me, you got to change that, right? And if she says, yes, daddy, whatever you want, then there you go. You hold her accountable. But that's it. That's the only person you'll ever hold accountable. Only women you'll ever hold accountable is a woman that genuinely desires you, right? That thinks, hey, um, I value you so much, and I don't want to lose you that I'll do everything possible to keep you in my life, right? And at that point, also, you might not even have to hold her accountable. And this is where a lot of guys discover that women have agency, right? Because they'll have this girl that's like super into them, and they realize, wait, she canceled her Miami trip. I didn't have to tell her not to go to Miami. Wait, she took down her photos where she was showing ass on Instagram. I didn't have to tell her, you know. Wait, she's not going on girls' nights anymore to the club. And I didn't even have to, the discussion didn't even come up, you know. Hey, she's dressing differently, like she's covering up, or she's asking me if she can wear something. Wow, funny how that works, guys, right? She held herself accountable because she was genuinely desiring you. And that's the only way, guys. That's the only woman you'll ever hold accountable, or she'll hold herself accountable for you. You won't even have to, right? And that's how you know, guys, that women have fucking agency, because you can tell a woman, hey, I don't want you to go to Miami, and then there'll be these little arguments on podcasts, be like, why, it's like fucking, it's been 2 years, dude. Like we know why the hell you want to go to Miami, right? We're not stupid. They're not stupid. We're not stupid. It's like that meme, like they know that we know that they know that we know that they know. So why do they do it? Because they think they can get away with whatever, right? But if a girl was truly into you and genuinely desired you, you wouldn't even have to, you would forget. You'd be like, didn't you have a Miami trip or you were planning? I'm like, no, I canceled it. I want to go somewhere with you. And you're just like, oh shit. Okay, sure. Right. A woman that genuinely desires you is so scared of losing you that she makes sure that every behavior she does would so no doubt in your mind that she's the girl for you, right? And that's why, guy, it showed when men try to hold women accountable, whether throwing money out of podcasts or they get rejected and say, hey, it's not cool that you rejected me, even though I've never even seen you or I've never put my dick inside of you, whatever, um, and all that stuff. It shows that they have no game, or they don't understand genuine desire, right? Because think about, for you guys that have had burning genuine desire, um, genuine burning desire. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Do you guys think that, or for the guys that have experienced genuine burning desire, right? Do you guys think for a second while you were experiencing it, did you guys think, she's gonna leave me or she's gonna do something shitty to me? No, you were just like, man, this girl's really into me, Like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go to work or I'm gonna do this because that's how it's supposed to be. That's a healthy relationship, right? When a girl genuinely desires a man, she does things in order to make sure that he doesn't doubt that she's into him, right? So she will cancel those trips. She will try to spend more time with you. She will cancel girls' night out. Anything that shows that she wouldn't be into you, she'll do it. And that's why once you experience that, it may have not lost it forever. Maybe she lost feelings for you, or maybe you're married, or whatever the outcome was. You go back and you look at your life and you're like, holy crap! The my ex, I had to tell her not to dress a certain way or not to go to Miami and do a certain thing, you know. And it was like a big fight every time, and you realize she never really genuinely desired to you. You were the good for now guy, You were the he'll do for now guy, and then you see more of like what you're supposed to feel in a relationship, and your eyes open, right? So that's step one of like agency, is realizing that you can only women have agency, and you'll see it through the ways they change their behaviors when they want to be with a guy that they truly desire. So, all right, let me catch up on some of this stuff here. Thanks for everyone watching on Twitch. My boy Sean on site. Yeah. Um. Sorry, man. That I guess that experience happens to a lot of guys where we you take a girl on a date and then the boyfriend, right? Because um, would you rather be a guy that just like got rejected by a girl once and then moved on with your life, or you rather be the boyfriend who just days before she was seeing other men before you decided to dedicate the rest of your life to her, right? I would rather be the guy getting rejected and moved on, right? All right, all right, okay. Women shouldn't be taken serious. Yeah, when it comes to dating, guys, watch what they do, not what they say. In terms of work and stuff, I take women seriously at work. I take some women seriously that are my acquaintances, But in terms of dating and relationships, not really. She's really likes you if she's willing to change her behaviors. That's it, guys. That's simple. There's really nothing else. There's really nothing else beyond that. And I know guys want to like spin it and have no, but this and no, but that. But she needs to no, no, dude, no. I know no matter how much you think that you have to tell a woman boundaries and like Jonah Hill and I don't like this, blah blah blah. When a woman is into you, she will be like, and if she doesn't know what to do, she'll ask you. How many guys in the chat have been like talking to a girl and the girl's really into them, and she's like, hey, what do you look for in a girlfriend? I've gotten that a couple times from women that I've dated, right? And you just don't even know how to answer. You just say, hey, like, just I usually say, hey, just be nice to me and be loyal. Whatever answer you got, but like that's women saying, please tell me how to be a better woman for you. You know. Gabe State. Okay, my contribution question: is it possible you're confusing accountability with control or lack thereof? Ah, so um, you're saying is it possible you're confusing accountability with control or lack thereof. So what would be control as opposed to accountability? Accountability is meaning that facing the consequences of your actions. Control is getting your actions controlled. Like you don't have autonomy, right? Um, maybe in the sense that oh the the fact that there's always someone there to absolve women of their bad decisions, or at least attempt to, is a way of is a way of lack of control because bad decisions and their consequences are what control humanity, right? If I put my hand on a stove and it burns me, um, you know, and I stop, then I'll stop doing it because there's consequences, right? But if I put on my hand, I keep attempting to put my hand on the stove, and some person's always there to stop me, then I'm probably never going to learn that, putting my hand on the stove is bad. So unless someone actually lets me put my hand on the stove, if that makes sense. Um, let's see. Sorry, guys. Freaking StreamYard's being lame as per usual. You make it sound like genuine desire is common. No, it's not common, right? But it is common for guys that are jacked. It is common for guys that are socially calibrated. It is common for guys that have sexy hot hobbies. It is common for guys that get over themselves. It is common for guys that approach women. It's common for guys that have good, healthy mental models with dealing with women, right? So the choice is yours, right? Genuine desire is not common, but once you feel it and once you get it, you will settle for nothing less in a relationship, right? Like there's girls I see that like I can tell that I'm just the guy that takes care of their needs, right? But then there's girls that I'm like the guy, I am their muse, I'm the guy that I'm him, right? And they'll do anything to keep me in their life. But that's very rare, even for guys that get it. So, me in the best way to deal in between periods of genuine desire of a girl really liking you, is to have sex with girls that are less like, he'll do for now. So I don't know. I like sex, so sure, it works for me. So Gabe State says, "Sorry, winky face." What are you sorry for, Gabe State? I never I never thought that it did. mm, It did come to mind after she broke up with me. Yeah. Realize I know it's hard to see from the perspective of a guy getting broken up with or dealing with heartbreak, but like when a girl doesn't want you anymore, she's doing you a favor, right? Um, when a girl doesn't want you anymore and leaves you, she's doing you a favor because um she's leaving the relationship proactively, right? How many girls do you know stay in a relationship just for like the benefits that they think there's time, like life is finite. You don't have time to be with people that don't want to be with you, right? So when a girl takes it upon herself to leave you, that's a good thing, in the bigger scheme of things, looking at things far in the future, because why would you want to be with someone that doesn't want to be with you, right? You want someone that chooses you every day. And why would you want to be with someone that doesn't want to be with you, right? That's literal torture. That's why no fault divorce should always exist, because I don't want to be married to a person that doesn't want to be married to me, right? I don't want the state to be the one to decide whether someone should be with me or not. I want her. I want her because again, guys, women have agency. Simple as that. Um, let's see. Now here's a good question. Once it shows up, what the fuck is wrong with girls' nights? Hmm. What is wrong with girls' nights? Um, Depends on the girls' night, right? Let's say what a girls' night mean is not exactly going to dinner with your friends and going home and that's it. Let's pretend like girls' night is like going out to the club, right? Um, think of it this way, guys. On women's agency, right? Why is it that when women say they go out and dress a certain way and they put themselves in positions around in a sexual atmosphere and all that stuff, they say, "No, I'm doing this for me and my girls. I dress this way for me. I'm going to the club so I can get fresh air." Blah blah. Right? Why is it that they say that? Right? It's because they're trying to. They think you're dumb. Number one, they think you're stupid, and number two, she doesn't really like you that much. She wants to be. She's still hunting. She's still looking for that male validation she needs. A girl that genuinely desires you does not need any validation from other men, right? So why is it that when women go out to these places where there's going to be men there, men buying drinks, when there's alcohol, and alcohol makes people stupid, right, and make bad decisions. Even the most smart, loyal people make stupid decisions. Why is it that she needs to do that? And that's part of her, like how I hang out, and that's what I do with my girlfriends. But when she's home with her girlfriends or home with you, she's dressed like in pajamas. So who is she looking for? You know. So it's something to think about. Like a woman that genuinely desires you is not gonna want to go out and do this stuff, right? Obviously, there are guys that truly, truly don't care. Like very rare, but they truly don't care. Like, thank God I break from this girl, right? But for me personally, I'll tell you like this: if we don't have a title, right, and she goes to a girls' night, understand that I will be doing my thing up until the point where she says, "Hey, what are we? Can I be your girlfriend?" I will be doing my thing till the day she asks me that, right? I will be out doing my thing, right? Um, that's how I do business. No girl has stopped being my girl because of that. They like that a guy has options, and they know that they have to make a decision. Like if I make this guy my, I can't expect this guy to be loyal to me if I don't try to be his girlfriend, right? And I like that he's not loyal to me right now because he's showing me that he's desired by other women, and women like a man in demand. So I will be doing my thing up to the point where she says, "Hey, do you want to be my girlfriend?" And then I'll consider, depending on all that stuff. And then it comes to the debate of like, well, if he put a ring on it, or he asked me to be his girlfriend, I'd be better. But smart men know that behaviors don't change just because you get in a relationship. People don't change when they get in a relationship. People stay this. Trust me, people stay. Excuse me. People stay the same. People don't change when they're in a relationship. Again, I'm going to say it one more time. People don't change when they get into a relationship. They stay the same. They may put on their best face for a while, but after a while, their true colors come out, right? So that's why I wait a while when I'm with a woman before I'm like all in, because I want to see her true colors, right? And the women really can't hold that facade. I don't think anyone can hold a facade that long, right? So if it's already the beginning and I'm getting to know you and you're doing things to not show me that you really want to be with me from the beginning of the relationship, then I at the end or in the middle of the relationship or 5 years from now, I can't expect those things out of nowhere, right? And that's why when women post these videos like, "Oh, I can do whatever I want," he hasn't put a ring on it. That's stupid because smart men know like a relationship doesn't change a woman for the better, you know. Uh, that's just the way it is. Like, I'm sure you guys in the chat are smart enough to know this too. So, all right. Sean on site says, I was the guy that got rejected. We went to a stand up show. 3 days later, she told me I got a boyfriend now. Yeah, man, that happens, baby. You gave off too much friend vibes, or she realized, oh shit, her boyfriend said, hey, you can't be hanging out with other guys or something like that. But yeah, we got K Wiz. The way I see the whole moral shaming thing is like if a drug dealer offers you in a club a per normal person and start ranting and lecturing them, you simply reject and accept their offer. Yeah, pretty much. Like, and also maybe it helps, maybe it's tough, but put yourself in women's shoes, right? Um, put yourself in women's shoes. Since the day you were 12 or 11, you've been getting male attention from of men of all ages. Disgustingly enough, right? When men have been throwing themselves trying to get you opportunities, have trying to help you, trying to put you farther in life just because you're a girl, right? And then you do all these things, but then you start realizing like there's some guys I really like, but damn, like I'm like, if I post this picture, I'll get free dinners, and if I keep doing the things I'm doing, I'm getting free dinners, free opportunities, I'm getting treated like a princess. But this one guy I want, um, I can tell like he doesn't like some of the things I do, and what do I do? It's like, can I trust him to be the guy that provide me the lifestyle I want? Um, or and like give up the things that I was doing before? Or, do I just pass him by? You know, that's what girls go through every day. They have to decide on like, hey, you know, beta bucks or alpha fucks a lot of the times. So it's like, go easy on them and like realize, guys, if you're never gonna change a person, let alone a woman. They have to change themselves. They have to they want the desire to be better people, right? And you're never gonna change them. You can help them, you can give them tips, but like deep down, let them live out their decisions. It's not your problem. I promise, it's not your problem. You'll sleep better knowing it's not. So, uh, Cape says you discuss accountability in terms of women changing their behavior based on emotional needs of the man they're in a relationship with. More to the point, accountability to who? If the answer is you, then then you are taking control. No, because okay. Holding yourself accountable and holding someone accountable are two different things, right? Me holding you accountable means I have some kind of like consequence that I can give to you, right? Let's say since I don't know you that well, I said, hey, don't say this on Twitter anymore, right? You're not, who cares? I have no power over you. You don't know me. You don't care, right? But let's say you we're dating and you do something bad to me and you see how it affects me. You're just like, shit, I can't do that anymore. And you change your behavior. You're holding yourself accountable, right? Because you want to, because you like the person. You have a consequence. Your consequence is losing that person, right? And you are accountable to yourself. But if you're accountable to anyone else outside of yourself, it's because they have consequences for that actions, right? Me as a man, I don't have time to hold people accountable, right? You have to hold yourself accountable. I think that answers your question. And when you say you, if you're talking about me, like outside of yourself, um, no player wants to control women. No man worth his salt wants to control women. We don't care because If you don't do the things we want, we'll simply go to another girl. It's really that simple. Getting a girl is not hard for a guy that understands women. He does. It's not hard, right? It may be not as hard as for you because girls the DMs are full all the time and they always got guys hanging them up. But I know that within at least a month, I'll have another girl who likes me enough that she'll want to spend the night with me, right? Um, so you may think that's like some kind of accountability, the fact that I can switch you out, right? But I don't care because at the end of the day, like I don't need you to be accountable, right? I already got what I wanted. If you wanted more, then you have to step up, and that's it. It's really an easy equation. There really isn't much to discuss here. Um, and I think that's a lot of dating discourse now is like trying to change the landscape as a whole, and like, dude, you'll never mass convince people to do anything. You have to provide heavy incentives like money, free shit. Like that's what we do with our tax system, right? Hey, you have a clean vehicle, you have a clean whatever. Here's some money, right? And people will be like, man, maybe I should get a car next year because my neighbor got a big tax break. I should get a Prius or something. That's how you convince people to do things, not by going on a podcast and being like, hey, stop fucking, because they'll fuck, right? And they'll keep fucking, right? Matter of fact, guys, when I have a casual partner, I actually tell them to go do crazy things, right? I know that sounds pretty dark, right? But not like things that'll get them hurt, but like if I'm dating someone casually and they're like, "Hey, I'm going to Miami," I'm like, "Oh, have fun, take pictures, twerk a lot, like get free drinks from dudes," and how the speed at which they come back to me with, right? Because what I am to them is their escape. I am their excitement. I am their PlayStation 5, basically, for what a guy, what a PlayStation 5 to us, I am to women what a PlayStation 5 is to men, right? I represent their escape, the escape from all the men trying to hold them down and be like, you should be my girl. You shouldn't do this. It's bad, the guilt. But when you tell a girl that you're casually seeing that you don't care, right, because she's not that into you beyond sex and maybe a date or two, you tell them, hey, like, do whatever you want, fuck you want. I don't care. You're your own person, right? Go have sex, like, you know, and I will say it's kind of weird sometimes, right? When girls, discuss dating other men around you, and you're just like, you were balls deep in them last night. It's guys, like, it's technology. Technology has changed the landscape. It's gonna get weird. It's gonna be weird for a long time, right? We're not evolved to deal with this kind of like technology. It's godlike power, but at the same time understand that there's just certain rules you have to abide by. And a girl that you're seeing um, regularly that doesn't want to be in a relationship with you, you owe her nothing. She's not in a relationship with you. She's not invested beyond she wants to have sex with you. That's it. And you know, you need to understand that no matter how bad you want it, no matter how much you grind and hustle, make six figures, there are simply women that just say, "Hey, you're hot, let's have sex," and they'll move on. And you'll be like, "Whose fault is that? Technology? Them? You?" We can point fingers all day. Is it productive to point fingers? No. How about we just say, "Hey, that girl made a decision to come over, to drink my alcohol and have sex. And she was pretty cool when I let her. And then she left and she did her own thing." That's all, dude. Like that's all you can do, and you'll live a very peaceful life once you understand that. You'll let go of a lot of things. You'll see women as adults, adults make bad decisions all the time and they make good decisions all the time. What are you gonna do? Um anyways, give me a second here. All right, you're way overthinking girls' nights. Why is it so inconceivable that women just want to go out with friends and have fun and guys do that? Hmm. Why do you think, guys? Other womanizers in the chat, why we overthink girls' nights? It's because we've been the guy who we've seen a girls' night from far away, and we've gotten laid looking at girls, some which have boyfriends, some which are married. I go to salsa night all the time. Half the girls are married. I'll be dancing with them, and I'll be like, "Oh, do you have Instagram?" And they'll be like, "Oh shit, I didn't even see that." That's why we overthink it, because you're in a sexual environment. Alcohol makes people do dumb things, right? And I'm never gonna tell you no. I'm not gonna be like, "Don't do that." I'm gonna be like, "Oh no, have fun." But in my mind, I'm gonna be like, "Girlfriend material? Nope. Sex only box." Right. Now, if I'm barely getting to know you, like first month, I'm not gonna be like super hawkish about your behavior. I want to be like, I just met her. Like, we're still trying to figure things out. Um, but if it's been anything past that and you're still doing those things and you're not, then in my mind, you're telling me I just want to be a casual girl with you. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Like, I'm sure. Go have fun. Shit, I'll pick you up in the middle of the night if you want to hook up. Like that's how we see it. Rational men that you're attracted to, that's how they see it, right? Um, and this is a big talking point. I don't know why we're still talking about this. It's pretty obvious why. I don't know why we're still talking about this. Gabe says, "Oh my god, I'm glad we're mutuals on Twitter, but this is exhausting. You're like the male version of Teen Vogue writer." Yeah, if red pill content makes you mad as a woman or pisses you off or exhausts you, then that's a sign of a healthy woman. As much thank you for being here, but this stuff really isn't for you. It's not gonna make sense. You're just gonna hate me every more I talk about it, right? Um, and yes, I'm glad we're mutuals on Twitter too. So, um, all right, I got a whole bunch more. Also, don't forget our deal. I asked the question. I contributed boosting him. Yeah, well, at the end of the show, just stop telling me what to do, lady. Jesus. Um, okay. Guys, feel free to leave a super chat if you would like to support the show. The more super chats you guys leave, the more I can talk to you guys about stuff. So, yeah, we talked about how lack of agency in women is the beta's fantasy. They want women to not have agency because then they can be like, oh, we can save these women, and their provider side of betas, because that's all they have, can step in and save women from the bad decisions. So that's why it's the um, beta's fantasy, right? Um, so we also talked about licking the ice cream. How guys that get it and guys that get laid, they're blamed for licking all the ice cream and all that stuff. But that's because the ice cream also is sentient, right? The ice cream makes decisions to show up in places where there's men that are attractive, right? Um, if women goes to a girls' night or does things and puts himself in situations where there's alcohol, plausible deniability, and attractive men, then from a black and white kind of like looking at it from a far away angle, you can be like, hey, she's putting herself in a position to meet women. Just like when you go to a networking event, you're putting yourself into a position to meet people and job opportunities. Why do you do that? Because being approximate location to something increases the chances of it happening. That's women's how women approach guys. Women don't approach you directly, right? Women put yourself in your proximity. That's how they approach, right? How many of you guys have been in a club and you see a girl kind of looking at you and slowly moving closer and closer and closer to the point where she's like right next to you? And then you talk to her and she acts like, oh shit, hey, I didn't see that. She knows what she's doing. That's how women approach you, is through proximity, right? Same thing with DMs, right? Their DMs being open and the fact that they're available to other men is how they it's like what approaching is uh, to men, right? So when women want to have their Instagrams open and women want to go to girls' nights out, it's basically saying you are my boyfriend and you can't search for other girls anymore. You're with me, but I'm going to put myself in the position where if he's the guy I'll need in the future. So I'm going to keep my DMs open. I'm going to keep going to girls' nights in case my guy currently doesn't work. So yeah. So Girls have agency, point blank, period. Right? Even if you don't think they do, sometimes they do, and you're gonna be live a much more peaceful life. Right? Anyways, guys, follow Gabe State One on Twitter. She's lovely. Um, there you go, Gabe State. I gave you your pump up. She needs more followers, guys, because the guy she's with isn't she's not sure about or something. Love you too, Gabe State One. Anyways, yeah. So I have stories. I could tell you stories. Um, I could say though that women make a lot of dumb decisions when it comes to dating. They let guys go. They let good guys go. They let guys. Um, they let they get with betas, get bored, and then they come back to alphas. Um, they what do you call it? Um, they fuck guys they shouldn't. They fuck losers. They fuck dorks. They fuck millionaires. They fuck their sugar daddies. They fuck for the price of a purse. Women are really dumb, but you know why they're really dumb is that the delusion, right? The delusion they have because men, there's always men around to tell them that whatever they do is okay, and there's always someone to help them out of their bad decisions, right? And that's why they're like that, um, especially online. But I've had several instances in my life where I couldn't believe women's decisions, especially women that were in love with me, women that were into me, women that hated me, like all the things they did, and they realizing that slowly over time that a lot of times women just forget that there's consequences to their actions. Though they do have agency, the consequences for women come much slower. And that's why as a guy, we tend to be more in the real world because like if I know I know for a fact that if I get a girl pregnant, I'm on the hook forever. That's my kid and they'll hunt me down or I have to leave the country or something if I don't want anything to do with the kid, right? But girls are just like, if I have this kid, what's the worst that could happen? That's how they think because, the state will step in, out the father will have to step in. There's so many things. There's always going to be a beta dude ready to marry the single mom, right? So it's like, you know, it's not that they don't know what they're doing, it's that they in their mind there's always gonna be someone or something or some convention or some law or some group of people or some man or some rich guy to like bail them out. And you don't as a man you don't have that. So your actions are kind of more of like you think more in the short term and then sometimes in the long term. So it's tough because women are just like, hey, like I'm doing this. I'm gonna go to a girls' night. I'm gonna go to Miami, right? And me, who's been in the military and seen how women act away from their husbands and away from their boyfriends in foreign ports, you think, um, holy shit, this is crazy. Like it blew my mind how women act when there's no immediate kind of like consequence for things, right? Blows my mind, and from what I've seen, women now are just doing whatever they want. They're out of control, right? I guess you could say that. Um, they have so many options, right? And that's another thing. It's hard to fathom how much options women have. And you guys take rejection so personal, but I'm like, guys, I get rejected all the time. Like usually I'm like, I'm not even doing that great on dating apps. Problem is that once she's in front of me, it's a done deal, basically. But like, um, it's not that women don't like you it's just they have so many options and they can barely keep up. They silence their phone and then they meet a guy in person and their ex and all that stuff. It's just like having too much power, you're gonna make bad decisions. Like the politicians we complain and bitch about, right? They have a lot of power, right? And they make dumb decisions all the time, and we bitch about their decisions that they make. But part of the reasons they make bad decisions is because they have a lot of power. They have a lot of ammo and a lot of reach. So if they enact the policy or do something stupid in front of everyone, then everyone feels it. Um, and we bitch, right? So understand that since technology has given women a lot of power in the short term to do things, to go from being a no-name girl in a no-name town to being in a millionaire's yacht or on a millionaire supercar, which I have literal female friends that came from nowhere towns who went on dates with crypto guys, millionaires, just because she exists, and you expect her to be like, "No, I'm going to turn that down because that's not the right thing to do." No, they're going to take it. So let's put ourselves a little bit in their shoes. They're gonna watch out for them, and you should watch out for you. And part of watching out for you is accepting women have agency, and that's it, guys. That's pretty much it. Recently, there's this psychotic woman from a women's magazines that's been attacking me. She read a tweet about how girl left me because for a shorter white guy, right, or something like that. They're obsessed with race. And the truth is, actually, guy's actually Persian, but it's more fun to say white because I get to bring out all the white nationalists and all that stuff, right? But the parts of the story I omit is basically, hey, she she was like, she told me, hey, I always knew that me and you were going to be together. I just knew it ever since I saw your picture, blah blah. I'm like, okay, I told her really like the same, right? By then we were already kind of like falling for each other, right? Whatever. But then I dropped her off the airport once. She's like, "Hey, I don't want to be with you anymore. I feel like you don't have you're unstable. You don't have a real solid future." And I told her, "Hey, I'm getting out of the military. If you give me a couple months, I could figure this out and kind of establish myself, right?" And she was like, "No, that's not good enough. Sorry, I gotta leave you." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I dropped her off at the airport, and then like 3 months later, she gets with a guy that's short, virgin. I heard through the grapevine that he was a virgin. Dude, scraggly beard, no muscle, skinny fat, like pretty much the opposite of me, right? Now I wasn't devastated because I wasn't like I was waiting. We weren't official yet, so like, oh, that sucks. Um, but she kept messaging me, innocuous memes, things like the inside jokes. And I'm just like, at first I'm just like, I asked people like, hey, is this normal? Because like she's with a guy, and me and her kind of were together for a while. And they're just like, "No, like, that's just the way she is. She's just friendly." And I'm just like, okay, I'll go with it." And then, I go to Mexico. This is after I got out of the military. I'm like living my life. I'm getting used to being a civilian. And I go to Mexico with a really hot chick, a hot white chick, right? Ironically enough. And we go there. We're in Cancun, just having a good time. And this girl has a really nice butt, right? Like it's really nice. And I face with just her backside, and we're just on a beach chilling. She messages me, my ex, and says, "Hey, that's nice. Like I like that you're enjoying your life." And I'm like, you have a guy. Like, cut the shit. I didn't tell her that. I was just like, cut the shit. You're starting to get jealousy, and you're fucking with another guy. So it's like I got a little annoyed, but like, whatever. I'm on a beach in Cancun, so who cares? Um, and over the year, like over a year and a half, she keeps messaging me and sending me memes, and then eventually, she stops. And guys, like, she made a decision and she fucked up. She obviously wanted to be with me still, but she chose comfort. She chose a guy that she could manipulate because she was the only person he's ever had sex with, and she went with the hyper comfort option. Lo and behold, she realized like, oh shit, this guy doesn't really get me off, but the guy I used to date is out here with other women, and that kind of like turns me on. That's what I liked about him, the fact that he could get other women, but he chose me. But then I let him go, and instead of him, he didn't mope, he didn't fight for me back or anything. He just said, "Okay, cool," and moved on, right? And the only way that happens, guys, is if you understand women have agency, right? Because when you get dumped by a girl and you keep trying to get her back, it's like in your mind you're trying to convince yourself she doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't know she's losing a good thing. Yes, she does know what she's doing. She made a decision. Just because the decision wasn't good doesn't mean she doesn't have agency, right? People are gonna make bad decisions all the time, right? So you're either on the side of let women do whatever they want and let consequences fall where they may. I'm not dealing with it, or you could be like, no, we have to teach women a lesson. Which one sounds more peaceful? Which one will get you laid more? Exactly. So yeah, yeah, she fucked up. She fucked up big time, and I think she's single again. Um, girls don't know that guys that like that they're guys that they don't know that some guys, certain kind of guys are extremely rare. That they're like once in a lifetime opportunity, twice in a lifetime opportunity, right? Hot brown girls are everywhere. You know, I've dated 3 that are better than my ex. All better, better at sex, better at just being a better person overall, more pleasant to be around. You know, obviously my ex has certain things that are really nice. She's not a bad person, but realize that like over time you're gonna realize like, hey, as I improve and get better and I learn game and I get a better job and more mature, you start realizing how fucking rare you start getting as a man. The competition is on the ground. And slowly over time you realize like, man, women are really making really, really bad decisions when it comes to dating, you know? And it's just really reflected as you get older, as women let you go and they're like, hey, like or like not they have these weird icks or reasons they let you go, but you're like they're still single for like 5 years, or they date a new guy every year and all that stuff, and it's just like damn, like sure. And even then now, I'm seeing someone that like, they are we have sex like once or twice a week or once a week now, I guess, for 2 years, and I treat her like a gentleman, and she's pretty awesome gal. But, like, she's out there dating. She even uses the pictures I took of her on her dating profile, but she comes to my apartment every week, right? And she's out here dating and traveling and drinking and twerking, and I'm just like, "Yeah, go ahead, do whatever you want, you're not into me like that." And it's like, you know, let's say in the beginning, instead of her doing all that stuff, she's like, "Hey, I wanna be with you," and let's say things worked out between us. Like, do you think at any point does she ever think about that at any point? Like, "Man, like, a guy like Nuke, it's, like, kinda rare, you know? What I should probably chill, like obviously I'm sexually attracted to him because I let him have my way with me and I like throwing like the sex is great. So it's like to me, final lesson is like, hey, she's making a decision and she's sticking by it. So I should not worry. It's not my problem. Right? Relationship is her problem. She wants a relationship that's on her. So all right. So thanks, guys. I want to thank Mr. J, Costa Rica, Matt, K Wiz, everyone that King Trust Issues. I see you. All these people that Sean on site. I think he left, but Sean on site. All these people, especially you guys watching on Twitch. I appreciate it. Could become a Twitch partner soon. I need you guys' engagement and Gabe State too. I appreciate you for watching. Appreciate your friendship. Found most, not all of this pretty depressing to be honest, but it was an interesting learning experience. Yeah, the thing is, like, if you watch red pill material as a girl, it's gonna be depressing, right? I made the mistake of doing it once and explaining it to my girlfriend, and she was crying, like literal tears, because she couldn't believe how hard men have it. And the only reason she cried little tears is because she was very invested in me and she really wanted to know my backstory, and I told her my story, military and the women in the past. She's like, "Wow, but you're so like amazing. How would a woman ever do that to you?" And I'm just like, again, women make that bad decisions all the time. Um, but it's just life. And you made a good decision to be with me in the moment, right? And you're crying because, you like me and you can't fathom a world where women don't want me or reject me or treat me or take me for granted. You don't understand that, right? And that's why, you know understand that women make bad decisions, and that's just it. You can't save them from the bad decisions. They will do whatever they want to do, um all the time. And if they want to be with me, great, but they better want to be with me because I'm not going to hold them accountable. They have to hold themselves accountable. So yeah. One second. Streamers being lame. I don't feel sorry for you. Yeah, you don't know me. Why would you? And also, I got a lot of things going on for me. Why would you feel sorry for me? I'm like, life's great. Um, The wheat is depressing. Yeah, red pill's not for you. Red pill's not for women. It will never be for women. It's for men. If any women want to learn about this stuff, just know that it's depressing. It's not easy because it's coming from a very pragmatic uh, place. You know, it's not. We don't run it through a woman filter to make things sound nice. We say what it is, and that's it. And the point of it is to make men's increase men's sexual power. That's it, and identity. That's all. So space is not meant for women. Hence, why most of the language in space sounds harsh. Yeah. So that's why you can stay if you want, but it's tough. It's like it's not for you and never will be. Um, but that's okay because the reason it exists is because we want you to be happy with us, so we can be happy. And if that doesn't work, then you know. All right, guys, that's all I have. Let me put my link tree in the chat. 1 second. Okay. There you go. So link tree's in the chat, guys. You guys can follow me on Twitter. You guys can follow me on Patreon. You guys can follow me on here if you're not already. Give me a follow. Get me to 700. I'm like 2 away from 700 subscribers. Twitter, I'm like 5 away from 8.6 thousand followers and all that stuff. But yeah, guys, it's been real. It's a tough topic to talk about. Just if you take away anything from this, just don't hold women accountable, but they have agency. Let them make their decisions. Don't feel bad when they reap what they sow. Don't feel bad. Realize the only woman that you can hold accountable is a woman that genuinely desires you, and even then, she'll probably hold herself accountable before you even try. So it is what it is. So, all right, I love you guys. Have a good night, and stay safe out there.